This is Mike with Blackstone Online, and this is Robin with Legendary Kentucky Silk Pie. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Well, tell us about your pie.
Well, we're a family operation. We've been making this pie since 1983 and started marketing it outside the restaurant in 1988. And our first customer was State Parks, Kentucky State Parks.
Kentucky State Parks.
Yeah.
Now,
we're still on today.
Now, since that, give us a little bit of a rundown of the history from then to now.
Okay, we started out in LaGrange in the basement of our house. We had a restaurant, and there wasn't room in the restaurant, so we got a state approved in our home, and started making pies, and trucks would come by and pick up the pies, and they'd deliver them out to restaurants. And from there we moved to another depot in town, and started we set up with equipment and got it kind of automated. And one of our main customers at that time, after we've been there about a year, was Old Charlie's.
Oh, Charlie's, yeah. Good food.
And we were in there about approximately 10 years. We're in a lot of food service companies like Cisco.
So any of the surrounding stores or restaurants can order your pie then?
Yeah, in retail we're in like Kroger's and Liquor Barn, Orlando's, Paul's Fruit Markets, places like that out of Louisville. We're in the Kroger is, they call it the Midwest region, which goes down to Nashville, and in those stores.
Now, when you first started to make the pie, how did you come up with the concept of making a pie? Because you were a restaurant, did you just invent stuff as you go along?
No, we were in the restaurant business, and that was one part of the restaurant we were frustrated with. There wasn't, it seemed like good quality desserts, and so when we first opened the doors, my mom, who was English, she was helping us in the restaurant, and she kind of had some different ideas, and we put our heads together and we kind of came up with this. And so we were selling a restaurant like this, and then when we got into State Parks, and it was the same product, but then when we went into getting set up to run it, on conveyors and stuff, it kind of ate the pie up. It ate the crust up, and we thought we made a major mistake in trying to get into this full time. But it finally worked out. We had to kind of redo the recipe, and it came back together, and this is what we have now.
How did you end up, how much different is it from the original?
It's quite a bit. It's a whole lot different. It's a lot more it's fluffy, and it's a little more richer. It's different. It's a different character of the crust, totally.
To me, when I ate it, which I've ate two, I haven't reviewed them yet because I had to eat both of them. But anyway, when I ate the one last night, when we were eating the one last night, one thing I like about it is you don't know what you're going to get, kind of, because the crust sometimes thinner, sometimes it's thicker.
Yeah.
So, and it is unusual crust, which we'll talk about when I review it, because it's not like your normal crust. It's more like just the bottom crust, and then the rest of it's chocolate, right?
Yeah, that's right. With the crust, there's a lot of things. It's not an easy product. We had to fight with humidity and everything else. We wash the days, we bake it, and it can be it's a hard fix sometimes. But we work through it, and we're really satisfied, because now it's basically the same thing when it comes out, but we know the things not to do now and the things to do. And there's a lot of things not to do with baking that crust.
So how much do you eat of it?
I taste it and test it all the time.
Taste it.
I make sure it's the way it's supposed to be.
So a little bit for you, a little bit for the box.
That's right.
That's great. So, are you looking to branch out, maybe come back over here to our part of the world in eastern Kentucky and maybe sell some over here?
Well, I'm sure we'll get around to it. We got, like I said, we're in distributors that come this way. And I know we have other distributors. We got Southern distributors, Somerset Foods, Gordon's. And so we pretty much got the state covered. And we're really looking to get.
Are you trying to get out, like to Indiana, West
Yes,
Virginia?
Right.
Now, you all do mail order too, right?
No, we don't do a lot of
You
mail
don't mail
order.
order?
Not a lot, because in dealing with UPS and the dry ice, and the cost to do dry ice has really gone up. They got all these surcharges, and so now it, to send a couple pies is like $70 if it's ground. So and then to go to the West Coast is like $150.
So you're trying to figure out a way to maybe capitalize on the mail order, maybe?
No, we're not really looking to get into it, because it's a hard sell. I mean, people don't want to pay that much, and we're frustrated with the way it gets delivered. If it doesn't come in right, we hear about it and we have to pay for it. So
You had to send more.
yeah,
Well, I wish there was a way that you could have a better mail order.
I wish there was too. Like I say, this pie is really it's a fragile type pie. You got to keep it froze and serve it froze.
What's the shelf life?
14 months.
14 months for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
the great thing about it with being froze. And we got the top on it. The plastic top keeps it from getting the smell and the taste of the freezer.
Let's open it up here and show people what it looks like.
And this pie is thawed, but they can be refroze. This has been in a little cooler with ice. We normally, when I do get out and I do sell, I usually have dry ice with them. But one thing we found out, we were in Home Shopping Network, and that was a complete disaster.
Oh, you did Home Shopping Network?
Yeah. And what it was, we were doing all these tests with it, and we found out dry ice blows chocolate up.
What?
It does. So what would happen, we were getting our pies, they were filling up the plastic thing. Now the dry ice people never bothered to tell me, hey, chocolate and dry ice don't go together. So what we finally, after trial and error, we finally figured out if we put this in a plastic container, in a plastic bag, and seal it, it's fine.
I remember how I got them delivered to my
They're
house. They were
sealed.
sealed in plastic, thing.
And so we didn't have any problems. So now we got on Home Shopping Network, and I think we were on like maybe 3 separate times, but we were a year getting in there. We had to have 4,000 pies stocked in the freezer, and I remember we came on there, and I didn't go. It was another gentleman who took care of introducing it and showing it. They said I wasn't that material, so so I let him go with that. I didn't want to get on there anyway. But they showed it maybe 3 minutes, and you could watch the sales there sometimes, and it was going okay. And then they did a cut, and then they came back and they did it again, then they did it another day. And then I found out they weren't going to run anymore. And the reason was that all the pies were going to the West Coast instead of the East Coast, which would have been 2-day ground from our place. So the cost to ship it over there was just too much. It was all air freight. And so they said that, it would work. I wish they had told me that to begin with. I wouldn't have done it. If I was taking a chance on, it being the biggest part of going that way, because, we had a lot of time, and, for a year.
So being in the pie business, do you feel that you have done the same thing? With it being such a competitive field with all the pies that everybody makes and things like that?
No, no, we feel like we're in a class by ourselves. Have you ever had anything like this before?
No.
Okay, we haven't either.
I don't even like chocolate.
Yeah,
And a pie, that is. I like chocolate candy. But
Yeah.
I don't want to blow my whole review now, but I ate it, and I'm probably going to eat it again tonight. It's like, it's going to be part of my daily diet. It is. I mean, I tried to sneak last night. We had one, I told you, I said, I have one pie left, I need it for review. You're like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll send you more. I'm like, okay, it's on. So I'm like, we have just a little bit left, and I'm like, here's your part, Hope. And she's like, whoa, wait a minute. Somebody's getting cheated here, aren't they? I'm like, no, ain't nobody getting cheated. It didn't last too long, let me tell you. She had to have her full portion. So
we get a lot of testimonials on the internet.
and me and her don't fight about food. But
Is that right?
and I'll throw down for some of that pie. I'm telling you right now. I mean, I told you I have faith in the product. I said you gotta go on Shark Tank. You gotta get the
Yeah,
world
I'm not ready for Shark Tank.
the world has to know about it. I mean,
I'll tell you what, we've been on hold. And I don't know if it's been the best kept secret or not, but we've been on hold for about 5 years. We've been in a lawsuit with the bank. And it hadn't been pretty at all. And so that's over with now. And we do have our business is free and clear.
100% yours.
Yeah, it's 100% ours. We're out of debt. We're ready to go forward. We're really looking for the right people to get hooked up with, whether it's marketing or a chain. It's a really great chain type item.
Well, the thing about it is, with the economy and the way things have been, and mom and pop businesses and stores, falling by the wayside, you're a success story. You're still here. You're still selling pies. And me, I'm still eating it. So
I'll tell you, the only reason we're still here is the Lord.
yeah,
I'm telling you, it is the Lord, because I don't know if anybody's ever been in a lawsuit with the bank, but they don't give up. They drag you out, and they have you in court about every month. And for 5 years, we were just on hold. We didn't know when the chain was going to be on the door, and so we had no money for marketing or anything. And just whenever I got out, that was it. That was the marketing. And so we just we're a diamond in the rough. And we got the capability, to do 200 cases a day, which is like 1,200 pies, a day. So we're ready to get on with our business.
and it says here, features and benefits: an exclusive product of Robin's Nest Bakery, delicious candy-like crust, chocolate lovers' dream filling, complement any meal,
One big spider.
and spider go away. With silky smooth taste, gourmet dessert handled with care, no cholesterol. And
No
it says
trans
keep
fatty.
frozen, serves best from freezer. Unused portion may be returned to freezer. Personally, we have 2 freezers, okay? We have a freezer that just freezes it. Like when you try to get ice cream, you gotta it takes everything to get the ice cream out.
Right.
Then we have our refrigerator freezer.
Right.
Hope was to put it in the freezer and eat it that way.
Or
So-
if you want to store it for a while, you put it in your deep freeze.
But she wants to eat it frozen, and I want to eat it unfrozen, okay? So I think what I'm going to do,
You want to eat it thawed out?
I want to eat it like this, okay?
Oh no, it's best frozen.
Oh.
She's got it. It's got to be frozen.
I was saying I was just going to give her her pie, and I'll take my own pie.
Well, that's fine.
And then she can figure out what she wants to do with her pie, and I'll do what I want with mine.
We've always liked it. Now, when we were in the restaurant business for like 2 years, we served it, thawed out like that. And I don't know what happened. One day we ended up putting it in the freezer, and we thought, man, this is good. And so we started doing it that way, and had it tested to, see what the shelf life would be and all that. And that's the only way we tell people to serve
Well, I
it.
told you when we were eating earlier, I told you that I would usually scrape the chocolate off and eat it, and then I'd eat the pie crust, because pie crust is
I never heard him eat
I like the goat part of it for me, So then last night, I said, well, I'll eat them together, and there's like an explosion in your mouth, and you're like, I'm like, wow, I can't even taste the chocolate no more. It's like eating Pop Rocks or something,
Yeah, you got to get a little bit of that crust. When we go to these food shows, we tell people because we dip out, a good sized portion into a 2-ounce cup, and so you got to get a little bit of the crust with that when you eat it. And
Yeah.
That's just the right amount.
Well, I guess we'll get done here, but, what do you see for the future?
What I see for the future? I see us, we don't need to expand. We've already expanded. We're ready to roll them out.
Uh-huh.
And we look to get in with some type of chain and some type of marketing. My expertise is not marketing. It's equipment and production and things like that. So we look to go forward and go into other states and maybe expand with Kroger's too.
Same with Kroger.
They got a good retail thing going.
What's the price point on them?
They're $9.99, like the Kroger.
The Kroger. So that's pretty much what it is across the board.
Pretty much, yeah.
All righty, well, I thank you for coming all the way to West Liberty.
Hey, no problem. I enjoyed our meal.
Yeah, and you got to see our beat up town
It's terrible.
and everything from the tornado, and you brought me some pies.
Yeah, I brought you some pies.
So we'll get that review done, and we'll get this up online, and people are going to be like, how do I get that in California? And we're at telling them, oh, well, sorry about your luck. You got to fly to Kentucky, I guess.
That's right. Gonna have to.
Buy you a ticket. It's worth it, right?
That's right.
And you're going to be at the Kentucky Proud Food Show in Lexington next weekend, right?
Yes, this coming weekend. That's, who's putting it on?
One of the news channels, right?
Yeah, it's one of the,
LEX, maybe?
what's one of the food channels? The food channel.
Oh, Food Channel.
Incredible Food Show.
Oh, okay. I seen it on LEX or something. I can't remember.
They're just advertising, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be at Rupp Arena. There'd be a lot of good foods there.
Is that it? We done? All right, I'm going to have to edit. Hey,